So we're here today to honor one of our special teammates for induction into the Team Horner Hall of Fame, Miss Connie Sue Centrella. She's beloved by many and a legend here at Team Horner in the swimming pool industry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a little bit of the criteria for the Hall of Fame, and then Bill's going to add some of his personal experiences in history and color to the presentation. So in order to be qualified for the Team Horner Group Hall of Fame, one of the things is must have a positive mental attitude, and Connie Sue has always had that. She's always been a can-do performer and just outstanding in every way. And what we wanted to do with the Hall of Fame, as everyone knows, is that we wanted to create an opportunity for those that come after us to be able to see and read about some of those who laid the foundation and the groundwork for the growth of the company over the years. So this is a great way for the legacy to continue as they move out in their careers, and that their contribution is never forgotten. So I think that's a great thing here at Team Horner. Also, an inductee must be an ideal example of a team player, which she's always been. Connie Sue's always volunteered, even after she wasn't working full-time anymore, and always the first one to come in and try to help out or just do anything that we needed in any way. They must have been the Employee of the Year award winner, President's Club winner, or other special recognition award winner, which Connie Sue has had all of those for sure. And must be retired in good standing and functioning in a reduced role from their normal scheduled duties. And as a special benefit in the Team Horner Group of Hall of Fame, all inductees will be eligible to have their children and grandchildren participate in the Dr. Bill Kent Scholarship Program of Team Horner, following all the established guidelines and procedures. So I think that's really an awesome thing. So even as grandchildren come and children come and that sort of thing, and they want to participate in that, they'll have an opportunity to continue their education through Team Horner. So that's an awesome thing, and we're proud of that. So I'd just like to say congratulations to Connie Sue. You've been an inspiration to us, and we just love you for who you are and everything you've done and contributed to the team. And enough positive things can't be said about you. So congratulations, thank you for everything, and I'll introduce Dr. Bill Kent.
So, what year do you think Connie Sue and I met? Take a guess.
1885?
Anybody else have a guess as to what year Connie Sue and I first met? How much? No. 1975. Not 1875, 1975. And we were in Washington, D.C. And I was going to tell you the story, but then earlier today, while we were sitting around in the office, she started telling the story. So I'm just going to skip that story because she tells it a lot better than I do. Oh, yeah. No. You tell it. We've been fighting like that ever since. So in the 1980s and 90s, Connie Sue was always involved in certified pool operator, and I was always involved with an NSPI technical committee. So we always ended up seeing each other all through those decades. But then what really happened that kind of sparked her career at Team Horner was in 2002, we opened a branch of Horner Express, one of the many that's been closed, but we opened a branch in Nashville, Tennessee. I can't tell you exactly what the guy's name was, but there was a Pool Corp guy there who supposedly wanted to come to work for us, knew the marketplace, And so my entrepreneurial instincts took over, and by God, we opened a branch outside of Florida in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, about 7 or 8 months later, it was obvious that we had made a huge mistake. So Danny Lockwood and I were sitting up there in Nashville. We had just fired the branch manager, and I kept scratching my head because I hadn't seen Connie Sue in a few years. I know somebody in Nashville. And son of a gun, I looked it up, and there was Connie Sue's number in my Rolodex that I used to hand carry in my suitcase with me. I know I didn't have a cell phone in 2002, but I had her number somehow. Anyway, so I called her and I said, "What the heck have you been doing these days?" And she said, "Well, I'm working for this chemical company, selling chemical. I think what was the name of the company? Stay Clear, C Clear, Vanson out of Washington. She was the sales rep in the Southeast." And I said, "Well, where are you?" And she says, "I'm in Atlanta right now." And I said, "Well, how soon can you be back here in Nashville?" She says, "Well, if I get in the car now, I can be back there tomorrow afternoon." And I said, "We are waiting for you." So we did. Danny and I sat around in this semi-closed branch and waited till Connie Sue showed up. So I said, "Connie Sue, we have got the biggest problem we've ever created for ourselves due to my entrepreneurial flair. And that is, we got this branch here and we got nobody to run it. And would you consider coming to work for Team Horner Group?" Well, I must have said the right thing because she said yes. Am I doing okay? So she bailed us out. And 2 weeks later, the branch was back in operation. Got to put up with that. So about 7 or 8 months later, she called me one day and she said, "Bill, I just can't take this distribution business." This is how I remember it, Connie. So, yeah. I just can't take it. It's just too much stress. And I said to her, "Well, what is it that you really like to do and are good at?" And she said, "Well, I love education." And I said, "Well, okay, let's go back up there and let's close that damn branch." And I think, Rick Myers, did you just say earlier you helped close that branch? Not that one, a different one? Oh, the Memphis branch. We're not going there. Okay, so we closed that branch and Connie Sue became our director of education. Now, I've always had this thing in my head about education, as you know, and as you would know by now. And so one of the things I did was I went and talked to Dr. Art Kaiser over here at Kaiser University, and I said, "Art, we have a full-time director of education now, and I've always dreamed of having a 4-year Bachelor of Science program in swimming pool technology. Because when you think about pool technology, you've got it all, physics and chemistry and all the stuff, every kind of engineering you can imagine. And that's part of what's always kept me so interested in it, even today. And so Connie Sue spent about, a year developing a 2-year program, because we figured, well, we'll start with an Associates of Science degree, and then later we can move it to a 4-year program. But let's get our legs first. So she spent a year with Kaiser University developing an accredited 2-year degree program in swimming pool and technology. And it was a great success in terms that every student that I've ever talked to who went through that program loved it. And most of them told me stories about how it actually improved their career. Some of them went in business for themselves, other ones just got elevated in their companies, but it was a real success. And it was on the internet, an online program, not a classroom program. And anyway, that was just really great. About 10 years later, was it? About 10 years later, we shut it down. But the reason we shut it down was because we couldn't get enough pool industry people to pay the $30,000 worth of tuition. And so Dr. Kaiser and I just agreed, well, it's a great success from one standpoint, but it was just not going to work. So we eventually had to call it a thing. So that was the end of that. But in the meantime, we also continued to develop all of our other educational programs. And so it was more than one full-time job. And then as time went on, Miss Connie Sue started getting calls from those cruise line people and offered her free trips to everywhere in the world if she would just teach those people on those ships how to run their swimming pools properly. So over time, we kind of lost her to the cruise lines. We couldn't compete with that. You know, she got to spend the weekend in Palermo or, I don't know, Hong Kong or somewhere in the world. It was just too good to be so. So that's how we lost her. But we never really lost her, because what Mike said is absolutely true. She always answers the phone, she always answers the emails, and we never lost touch from a connectivity standpoint. And then there's one final story before she comes up here and makes a 20 or 30-minute speech, I'm sure. Okay. And that is my own personal story with my doctorate. Well, you know, in 1967, I got my MBA. And there wasn't no internet. There wasn't no online classroom. You know, we just had pencils and pens and paper and lots of, and what? Slide rule. Oh, and I actually had a slide rule that I was pretty good with. I forgot about that. Anyway, because the program was online, in my doctorate program was all 16 classes were online. I signed up for a class, and on January the 2nd, 2012, I started. Well, the first time I turned on that electronic classroom, my head was spinning and so were my wheels. So who do I do? Hi, Danny. Come on in and sit down. Come on up here in the front. There's a lot of room for the gray-haired group up here. I'm almost done. You came perfect. So anyway, during the month of January 2012, I talked to Connie Sue probably every other day for 30 days in a row until I finally understood how to operate in the electronic classroom environment, because she knew how to do it because she was teaching courses on the classroom. And I had never even thought about that. I just was thinking about the end of getting this doctorate thing. So it was a pretty interesting first month for me. And in February, the calls started to drop off, and by March, I had it under my belt. So kind of. There's all kinds of things you never think about in the electronic classroom until you get in there and start working on it. So anyway, Connie Sue brings great delight to everybody that she knows, and it's really a delight to honor you with this Hall of Fame recognition. So please come up here, and I want you to tell that 1975 story, because I think the crowd will like it. And we'll lower this down.
Thank you. See? It's all that medicine I take. It's going to do my... I got that. 1975. I was 30. Bill was 33. And we were asked. There were about 20 of us. Thank you. I was 30. Bill was 32. Skinniest, scrawniest looking man I'd ever seen. But there were 20 of us were selected from all over the country to go to Washington to develop a program and a plan for the future of the swimming pool industry. We spent almost all week. We did some marketing, we did some technical stuff. We tried to figure out who would be our market. It was the baby boomers. Remember, Bill? Oh, the baby boomers. Our parents was our market when we started. Okay, but we got through it. We hung around. In fact, every one of the people that was in that meeting remained very close friends for the rest of our industry. You know, DJ Wright, John Kelly, people all over the country. We remained so close and so tight for so long. And it was a pleasure. You know, in fact, our whole industry has been built on friendships, built on people loving each other. So when I started thinking about, when they said you got to make a speech, you know, it's been a couple of years since I've been up here talking, you know. So I started thinking, well, where would I start? And so I started thinking about the plaque that you're going to see. And I'm going to take each one of the phrases in the plaque and give you the reason why I had those phrases. And the first one is, I've been fortunate to work in every facet of the industry: construction, retail, distribution, manufacturing. I call Autopilot and AquaCal manufacturing for me. Okay. Every spin of my life, I've taken every opportunity I could to do the best I could do. That's what I've tried to do. My father was my first mentor. And I can remember, I always wanted to write a book. And the book was, Daddy, Can I Ride With You? And what it was about, when I was a little girl, my father, World War II fighter pilot, toughest man in the world, decided he wanted to go in the pool business. Okay? So, back then, we didn't have high-rate sand filters. We had these huge tanks from Sea Blue, I think. Huge. They were called sand and gravel tanks. They had layers of different things. And on the top was a manhole. And we weren't getting but 3 gallons a minute per square foot, so there wasn't much flow going through it. But I can always remember my father putting me up on his shoulders with a flashlight and said, Connie Sue, I want you to look down in that filter and see what you see. And, of course, when the manhole came off, filters stink when you open them up. I don't care what you think, they do. So, anyway, I want to say that I loved going. I don't know how many of you had an opportunity when you were young to go with your fathers to Home Depot or somewhere like that, how much fun you had. So all of you gentlemen, when you have your children or your grandchildren, take them with you. Let them learn what you know. Screwdrivers. I can remember when Daddy we'd go fix a pump or repair a pump or whatever. Of course, you know, I didn't know which side of an impeller was an impeller, but he let me hold the screwdriver. He let me hold the wrench. He said, you sit there and I'm going to ask you for things. Okay. So much of my start in this industry came from my father. And then NSPI was formed. My father was an original member of NSPI. So we started going to conventions. Now, y'all been to shows. You know, the Florida show is much bigger than our first conventions we had, okay? But back then, the women didn't go to the convention. They didn't go to the seminars. they had a woman's program where they sent all the wives somewhere else. Okay. And Daddy said, Connie Sue, you're going with me. So I'd sit in these rooms. Now, I'm going to give you some Florida names you probably never heard of. But they're pioneers that I sat and listened to when I was 20, 21 years old. My memory helps. Snow Etheridge, Art Dorico, Stu Lang, Dick Jones, Albert Underwood's father that played the banjo. And there was a guy named Phil Martin, Baldy they called him. He worked for SwimQuip. Baldy would sit down with me and he taught me how to read hydraulic charts. Long time ago. I was in my early 20s. You know, we had the distribution in Nashville for a product called HTH, made by Olin. We brought it in train car loads in 100-pound drums. Okay? Does anyone know what HTH stands for? High test hydrogen. That was the name of it. Anyway, you recognize, Bill, that I love to teach. You recognize that I like to talk to people, enjoyed being with people. And, you know, of course, I went to school to be a teacher. But my daddy needed me more. So that's why I was with him. My background was science. My degree was in mathematics from Peabody, which became Vanderbilt. And actually, here's a secret none of you know. I was selected in 1963 to be one of the numbers girls at the beginning of the master's, NASA. I was going to go to Tennessee Tech and get my college degree in mathematics for the NASA. So you had space age things, and so did I. I didn't do it because another part of my life that all of you love is that I love to love. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, so let's start. I'm very proud of the achievements I did at Kaiser. I appreciate that so much. And I'm so proud of the students that came out of that. You know, there was a girl that was up in Vermont somewhere working it, and I brought her down here, and she started doing all kinds of stuff, and I'm really proud. There's so many of those students that I'm really, really proud of and what they've achieved. And Rick, of course, Rick followed me. You tried for about a year, right, Rick? So I've always had a lot of respect for that. All right. I could go on and on. But I want to tell y'all that when I had cancer 11 years ago, they cut my boobs off. When I had my back surgery 4 years ago, I lost 2 inches of height. The last 6 months, I was in the hospital for 21 days with every kind of tube you can imagine, trying to get me back together. I lost my memory. But I didn't lose my heart. And that's what I love so much. And I didn't lose the friendships I have right here. This is what makes me proud. This is why I so appreciate you bringing me back for this wonderful, wonderful experience. So on the plaque, you'll see, my advice to future generations is to live your life with passion. A passion based on living, learning, and loving. I don't regret one bit about loving every man I was loved with. Actually, and I meant to say this earlier, when I started in the pool business, if a man hugged you, it wasn't sexual harassment, it was acceptance. That's changed now. But anytime anybody wants to hug me, they're more than welcome. I want you to apply each learning experience that you have daily. And I'm still learning. In fact, when I was with Kaiser, at 62 years old, I went back and got my MBA. I didn't need it. I wasn't going to make any more money. I did it because I wanted to learn more. And those are the things that I've tried to do. So I want you to use your strengths and talents. I want you to cherish and love your family and your friends. That's the key. And live your passion with joy, and it will give you so much peace. Okay? I love each of you that came. I'm still overwhelmed with the number of people that are here. All of you mean so much to me, and I love you all so very much. So, my daughter Heather, my grandson Zachary, my grandson Joey. My life is them. My life is loving. And I really appreciate this honor. Thank you so much.
So Heather, would you like to come up?
I don't have anything planned, but she's just like me. I really don't have anything planned. You kind of surprised me.
Well, welcome to our world.
Yeah, hi everybody. You can always put me in front of a microphone. I'll be all right. Yeah. Well, I really didn't have anything planned, but I mean, I've definitely spent the last 48 years with my mama. And I really am so proud of her, and oh gosh. She really is. I mean, I don't even know where to start, really. But anyway, she's always taken great care of me, and when I was little, she was a single mom, and it was me and her against the world, and I've achieved a lot of success in my life, and I think that's all because of her teaching me how to be a leader and how to talk to people and how to be friendly and how to care about people. And I mean, she's just an amazing woman, and I'm so honored that y'all did this for her, and I know how much she loves all of you and how much this industry means to her. I brag on her all the time to my friends, because I'm like, yeah, my mom is like a water engineering expert, She understands chemistry, like things like that, really smart people understand. So anyway, I'm very proud of you, Mama. I'm glad we got to be here, and we love you so much, and thank you so much for everything. She is an amazing woman, and I'm so glad she's getting this honor, so thank you.
And how about the two grandsons? Zach, Joey? No? You sure? This is your big chance. You can't give us a little dirt on your grandma? You want to come up or no? Okay. All right. All right, so then the field's open. Who would like to come first? Uh-oh, Laura's coming up. This ought to be good.
Ought to be good and short. Connie Sue. Congratulations. And thank you for everything you've done for Team Horner and all the contributions to Team Horner education. You set a solid foundation for growth, and it's being practiced every single day. The extensive list of courses and programs and articles you created is quite remarkable, and it's always part of our curriculum. You are also held in high esteem whenever referenced in the industry. I've always heard countless times, "You have big shoes to fill." So I went up a size. Thank you. I'm honored to now serve in this role you so beautifully shaped, and will always work towards evolving the programs to the highest standards you set forth. We love you, Connie Sue, and thank you.
Who's next? Dave, come on up.
I do enjoy these Hall of Fame ceremonies because we, as employees, we get to thank all the industry leaders that have molded us and given us the opportunity to be the next industry leaders. I met Connie Sue during CAP classes. I came from the swimming pool industry, cleaning pools, but my career really didn't start to flourish until I came to Team Horner and started learning. I started learning about the business, about the products, about the construction side of the industry, the chemistry side of the industry, the customer service side of the industry. When I look around this area, what you see is collectively some of the greatest minds that this industry has produced in all facets of the industry. Construction, customer service, leadership, all collected here right now. But if there was a GOAT for the construction industry, if there was a GOAT for the chemistry industry, if there was a GOAT for the customer service industry, if there was a GOAT for the pool industry, there would only be one that could qualify for that. I want to thank you for passing on all the knowledge that you had and given us the opportunity to be the next leaders and take the next generation and teach them how the industry is. Because quite honestly, I do not think any of this would have existed at all if you didn't join this team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. Who's next? Linda.
No crying. No crying in the pool industry. Okay, I first got to know Connie Sue back in 2005. It was very easy to like this lively, fun, and super smart lady. But it was when I first took her CPO class in 2006 that I understood how bright Connie Sue shined as a superstar instructor. Her wealth of knowledge and experience, combined with her engaging, authentic way of communicating, made her stand out. She genuinely wants those she teaches to learn, not just to pass a test, but to feel more confident about their role in our industry and more excited about their career path. Never talking down to anyone, always lifting others up, giving her time and wisdom generously. Connie Sue traveled to several countries on our behalf, teaching CPO courses and more. Always in high demand, we called her our stealth weapon, as she did so much to contribute to our relationships with those customers. She enhanced our value as a supplier without ever needing to make a sales pitch. I know she truly enjoyed those trips, and the people she met and taught. They loved her and respected her and still do. Connie Sue is a legend in our industry for good reason, and if you've ever tried to walk a trade show with her, you know you won't get more than 10 steps before someone stops her to say hello. Ever loyal to Team Horner, even after she embarked on her adventures providing training on cruise ships around the world, she continued to support us in so many ways. No matter how busy, she always made time to reply to questions and help others. We have been so very fortunate to have had Connie Sue on our team. Her many career accomplishments are certainly admirable, but none were driven by ambition for money, fame, or power. Education is Connie Sue's true lifelong passion and vocation. She has left a lasting imprint on countless people in the US and around the world, helping so many improve their knowledge and enhance their careers and businesses. In turn, those people are helping to improve the quality, safety, and enjoyment of swimming pools and spas for an infinite number of users. Connie Sue's contributions will continue to resonate for a long time to come, a fitting legacy for such a dedicated professional. On a personal level, this very special lady has been an inspiration to me and is someone I admire and love. I have witnessed her remarkable resilience while faced with some of life's biggest challenges. She is fearless and never falters in her positive spirit, optimism, and zest for life. She is an amazing mother and grandmother who cherishes and enjoys her family. I'm so glad that Heather, Joey, and Zachary could be here today. She is also a kind, fun, and wonderful friend to those of us lucky enough to know her well. For 17 years, we have shared a great friendship that continues to this day. So, my dear Queen of Nashville and the high seas, it is a joy to celebrate you on this special occasion as we honor you and express our appreciation for all you have done for Team Horner and our industry. Congratulations, Connie Sue.
There's a lot of airplanes taking off today. Who's next? Who's going to say something? Gary, are you saying something today?
Of course. You know, the one word that immediately comes to mind when I see Connie Sue, regardless of where it may be, when I hear the name Connie Sue, is optimism. And specifically, the sign on that building over there that says powered by optimism. Every time I see that, there are several people that I think of, but Connie Sue, you for sure are one of those people that I think of. Have you ever noticed a smile on her face? It's always there. And for those of us who tend not to smile as much, thank you for your everlasting smile. I remember going to Nashville shortly after not the branch opened, but when Connie Sue became branch manager. And I wasn't there very long, and I don't even remember exactly what my mission was at the time. And Connie and I spent a little time together. But for sure, I remember one thing. I knew I was in Nashville. So, Connie Sue, thank you for putting your heart and soul into everything you've done for Team Horner. And congratulations, and we are very happy for your special day. Thank you.
Okay, Rick Myers, come on up.
I was in the same class Linda was, and that's really the first time, although I had been in the pool industry probably 25 years at that point, that's the first time we ever really talked about education and getting my CPO, and then 5 years later, Connie Sue got me to get my instructor's license in Norfolk, Virginia, and I've probably taught 200 or 300 people and got to go to a ton of places, including India and the Caribbean and all over Florida and the southern states because of Connie Sue asking me to do it. So that's nice, and I got to be called a assistant professor for about a year until they closed that program down, sorry. But I think the best thing is that our industry teaching people about the pool industry and the products we have is just as important about learning about business and everything. And I think everybody here should thank Connie Sue for that. So thank you.
Okay, who's next? Rick, are you going to say something? He never passes up an opportunity to be at the microphone.
Yeah? Yeah. All right. I've only known Connie Sue for 9 years, which isn't very long compared to the stories you've been hearing. Actually, I started out asking for information here and there because she has all this expertise, and she was always extremely generous with both her time and the information. Every time I asked her, do you have anything on this, I'd end up with a pile of stuff. Then came to learn step by step as these conversations continued that not only had she done it all, but she'd done it all multiple times, no matter what it was that I asked for. So that impressed me. But ultimately, I was thinking about this today when Bill was bringing her around, and she was in the hall by my office, and I saw Connie Sue again. I said, I don't smile all that much. I think most people here know that. And I was thinking when I saw Connie Sue, she brought a smile to my face. How many people do I know that bring a smile to my face every time that I see them? And I honestly can't think of anybody else, Connie Sue. You're the only one. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, who's next? Danny, are you going to say something? If you don't volunteer, I'm going to tap on you.
First story about Danny. I called him and I said, who do we get our winterizing kit from?
God.
What is a winterizing kit?
Okay. It's great to see you. It's been a long time. And when they started talking about 2005, I said, oh, shit, that's when I was walking down the street. But we went up to Nashville, and it was awesome. And then some recognition for Scott Knable, because he came with us. And once Bill and I figured out what was going on, we volunteered Scott to stay, to keep it open. And Connie Sue and I had some involvement, but since you all said so many nice things about her being a teacher, I want us all to think. I know my favorite teacher in high school is Joseph Patrick O'Brien, English lit teacher. And I still remember that, and it was 60 years ago when I had him. I still remember him. Every day you walked in, he gave us a quiz. So when I hear what all you guys are saying about Missy here, she taught us a lot. And not just the pool stuff and who cares about the Langler index and balance, taught us about life. You heard what's valuable to her as her family. And so when I think of her, I'm going to think as a teacher, but I'm really disappointed because said she was a loving, she liked men. What the hell was I in the 70s? We got to talk. Thank you. Too late.
Okay, Aaron, you drove a long way to come here. Are you going to say anything?
Connie. So I also started in 2005, and when I started here, I was going to college at the same time. So I was planning to work here part-time just until I got to college. I was working here and Blockbuster, to give you an idea of, yeah, timestamp on that. So Connie Sue is one of the people that helped me realize that this place was more than just a job. So once I got into customer service and got deeper with the company, she showed me that there could be a potential future here. And I always appreciate how much you taught me and how my first CPO course was with you and how you really made it fun. Like, it didn't feel like I was learning anything, even though I was. It really felt like we were just up there and we were having a good time for a few days. Like, I wanted to do it again. It was great. It was so much fun. And then when I got my bachelor's degree from college, from Florida Atlantic, I came back here and she was here. And I'll never forget that day because I ran into her and I was so happy at how proud she was. It gave me more to look forward to. And so I want to thank you for everything you've done and everything you mean to me, personally.
Okay, who's next? Rosa, are you going to say something? How about Maria? Are you going to say anything? Yes? No? No? Who else? B, are you going to say something? Of course, you never pass up that. I know who is in love with the microphone.
I was not ready for this. I was hired in 2014, did not know squat about the pool industry, and I'm standing at an IPSA conference with Connie Sue. And they introduced me to her, and I said, I don't know what I'm doing. She guided me along with Rick and everybody else here. But I remember when I went to get my CPO certification, what was it, 3 years ago? Guess who was one of the proctors? One of my proctors. And I don't know whoever, well, Rick's been a CPO instructor. It's not an easy course, but she guided me and she's like, you'll be fine. But anytime I see her, I get that warm feeling and that infectious smile. And I thank you for everything you've helped me with throughout the years. Thank you.
Anyone else? Kim Kent? No? Yes? Come on up here.
I really wasn't going to say this, but now I have to. I wanted to thank you for having more husbands than Dr. Bill Kent has wives. It just came to me, Connie Sue. But I have to say that I've actually been with Team Horner 10 years now, and I was with Bill when you were helping him when he was not quitting, but so frustrated. So thank you for helping him through that because he stuck it out. And I want to thank you for being a good friend to so many at Team Horner. You have personally inspired me by your perseverance, your kindness to everyone. Yes, your smile is infectious. And also knowing some of the health challenges you've been through. I know you've appreciated the prayers, but how you have handled that has been an inspiration to me and to many others. So thank you for all you've done for Team Horner, and most importantly, for being the wonderful, wonderful person you are on this planet. God bless you.
So Kim Guerra? No? Kevin, no? Anybody else in the back? If not, we'll just come up for the plaque unveiling. Uh-oh. Connie Sue wants one more thing.
I'm just going to read 2 stanzas of a poem. I forgot to do it earlier. That on a plaque, and Heather, you may remember I had it in the bathroom, and I read it every morning. Okay, and I'm just going to do 2 stanzas of it, and it's what I've lived by. Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, when you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Then the last of it is success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. You can never know, you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. Thank you.
We have a plaque for you.
A plaque, another plaque, Heather.
It's the same one.
Okay.
So, all right. So this plaque replicates what's over here in the garden.
Oh, thank you. You better read it. I think I'll cry.
First of all, it's a beautiful picture. It says, "My life in the swimming pool industry began over 50 years ago. I have been fortunate to work in every facet of the industry from construction, retail, distribution, and manufacturing. With each spin of my wheel of life, I took every opportunity to help others improve. I have been blessed with mentors who guided me and believed in me. The first was my father, Joe Gibson, who encouraged me to do my best with each task and leave each situation better than I found it. My friend Bill Kent, who had monitored my career, believed I could make a difference within his company. He introduced me to a team culture based on working together will achieve success. Bill recognized my lifelong desire to teach and appointed me as the Team Horner Director of Education. My education background was science, which led me to blend mathematics, chemistry, and engineering into educational programs for the pool industry. I am proud of the achievement of my students who earned their degree during the Aquatic Engineering degree program at Kaiser University, the Career Advancement Program, CAP, and the Horner Institute of Technology and Training, that's called HITT, H-I-T-T, created a lasting learning experience for my fellow teammates and pool professionals. My advice to future generations is to live your life with passion, a passion based on living, learning, and loving. Live each day with a goal to bring happiness to others. Apply each learning experience to improve your strengths and talents. Cherish and share your love of family and friends. Living your passion will bring you lasting joy and peace. Connie Sue. That was beautiful. So
we can take that back home.
you get to take that back home.
Okay.